I found my time in Rome this winter to be an interesting experience. As it was my first time in Europe, I experienced many new forms of art, culture, and religion that I have never experienced before. To start off with a question, I'd like to ask, what do you think of when you think of art? Some people think of paintings or sculptures. Others think of music or the way a dancer moves when they're dancing. Throughout the remainder of this video, I will explain how my feelings on liturgical music have changed and why I now consider traditional liturgical music to be a great form of art. I went to find a definition of the word art and found this one that states that art is the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as a painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. I found many other definitions, but kept going back to this one as I found it the most interesting while thinking about this class. The definition states that art is typically in a visual form. However, the rest of the definition explains that art is any expression that produces work that can be appreciated by its beauty or emotional power. The second I read this definition, what I believed about liturgical music became so much more clear to me. This particular definition of art uses the words beauty and emotion. It is not a coincidence that during every field study, class session, or tour of Rome that these same words were used multiple times. I now believe that music, especially liturgical music, is one of the most strongest forms of art. I was highly impressed by the multiple sculptures, paintings, and buildings that we saw during this trip. However, no matter how old, how big, or how unique any of these artworks were, none of them could provide me with the same emotion that I experienced after hearing music played during worship throughout the trip. This is a sample from O Magnum Mysterium in which we referred to over and over in class. Every time we listened to the song, the emotions I experienced seemed to get stronger. These emotions helped to highlight some of the moments of my trip. The song tells the story of the birth of Jesus in a delicate and spiritual way. The way the song is conveyed helped to add significant emotion, whether I was hearing it live in concert or through my headphones at the Sistine Chapel. This video shows the Benedictine College singers who we saw perform the piece live. After hearing the song multiple times and even witnessing it live, I now appreciate the meaning behind the song and can see it as an important work of art because the song conveys emotions of spirituality and liveliness for myself. In class and at the various masses we attended, I learned about many other forms of liturgical music that I now view as art. Before this trip, I liked when church choirs had a more contemporary style because it seemed more like music I would listen to outside of church. During the trip, most of the masses we attended played more traditional music. To me, the music played during the Papal Mass with Pope Francis and the music played at Sunday morning Mass at the Church of Santa Maria in Trastevere both were very traditional. Through these two masses, I was able to appreciate and see the beauty of more traditional music. I now think that traditional music and Gregorian chant are forms of art appropriate for worship because traditional music will never fade away or lose any of its strength or emotion. To show how my time in Rome has changed my views on liturgical music, I'm going to look back on a field study from back in the United States before we left. When I attended St. Francis of Assisi in New York City, I analyzed the music I heard based solely off of if I liked the tune and not on how the music really made me feel. This shows the closing hymn at St. Francis of Assisi. In my first field study, I explained that the beat of the music put me in a good mood while I was leaving the church. However, I believe that if I was put into the same moment now, I would have something very different to say. Now I will listen to the same song and hear the lyrics and really think about how the song feels emotionally. This song in specific still puts me in a good mood. However, I can now understand the lyrics and appreciate the upbeat feel that the choir gives to the song. I would have never considered this piece a work of art before this class. However, I now consider this song to be artwork because I can recognize the positive emotions that it brings out in me. In conclusion, this class has caused me to view liturgical music as art, and I now appreciate multiple different styles of liturgical music. Attending St. Francis of Assisi at home helped me recognize that I've always enjoyed a contemporary style of liturgical music, while attending multiple Italian parishes has given me a new appreciation for a more traditional style. One of the most important things I have learned in this class is that it is not necessarily about the lyrics or the way the song sounds. What really matters is how the song makes a person feel and if it has the power to communicate the gospel while bringing the congregation together.